things are a bit crazy right now. It's a sentence we drop into conversations almost without thinking. We use it to explain away the messy desk, the unreturned texts, and the background anxiety. We tell ourselves, once things slow down, I just need to clear my plate. I'm just surviving this month. Which would be a flawless strategy if we hadn't said the exact same thing last month, and the month before that. But one of the strangest feelings in adulthood is realizing that no matter how hard you work, you never quite feel caught up. Life never actually seems to begin. Every few months it feels like you're almost there, almost caught up, almost ready. Then the horizon moves, and you realize that the internal promise we make to ourselves is usually a lie. Just need to get through this week. Just need to sort a few things out, and then I can finally breathe. Maybe that's where a lot of the suffering comes from. Not from where we actually are in life, but from where we think we're supposed to be. For a lot of us, that feeling quietly follows us for decades. The reasons change, the feeling doesn't. At first, you're just trying to get through school. Then it's surviving the entry-level job. Then it's finding the right person, securing the apartment, saving for the home. The finish line keeps moving, but the whisper is always familiar. After this. My real life starts after this. But if you stop and look closely at your life, you notice something uncomfortable. The after this never permanently arrives. Think about something you desperately wanted 5 years ago. Not casually wanted, desperately. There's a good chance it's part of your normal Tuesday now. The thing you thought would change everything. The thing you couldn't stop thinking about. The thing you were convinced would finally make you feel like you'd arrived. The apartment becomes normal. The salary becomes normal. The hard-fought promotion slowly fades into the background scenery of daily life. Without even noticing, the mind resets to zero and starts looking ahead again, looking for the next version of life that will finally make us feel complete. Maybe that's why so many of us carry a quiet, heavy feeling that we are constantly falling behind. Not necessarily behind everyone else, just behind an imaginary version of ourselves. We carry around these invisible deadlines we never consciously signed up for, yet we feel intensely guilty for missing. By now, I should have this. I should have done that. I should be further ahead. And because of those unwritten rules, life subtly turns into a race, a quiet, lonely race that takes place entirely inside your own head. We start treating life like a highway, eyes locked on the destination, foot heavy on the gas, always chasing, always trying to make up for lost time. And when you're driving that fast, you stop noticing where you actually are. You stop tasting your coffee. You stop seeing the sunset, because pausing to appreciate the view feels irresponsible when you're convinced you're running late. But the strange thing about comparison is that it's almost never fair. Without meaning to, you compare your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel, your internal doubts to their external confidence, your unfinished, messy chapter to their polished final one. The single person longs for the security of a relationship, while the married person quietly mourns their lost freedom. Everyone is standing in a different line, staring across at someone else's line, absolutely certain it's moving faster. One of the strangest parts of getting older is watching that illusion of certainty completely fall apart. When you're a kid, adults look like entirely different creatures. They look solid, certain, like they've reached some magical plateau where life finally makes sense. Then you grow up and realize nobody feels as certain as they look. The ones who project absolute confidence still doubt themselves in the dark. And the ones who look completely settled feel lost more often than they ever admit. They aren't doing it wrong. They're just human. And once you see that, you realize that feeling behind isn't a reflection of your actual progress. It's just a condition of being alive. The person you are comparing yourself to is busy comparing themselves to someone else. Life isn't a fixed schedule. We don't all have to catch the exact same train at the exact same time. Some people find their purpose at 20, and some find it at 50. Some build empires early and burn out by 30. Others don't even start until the world thinks they're finished. When you spend your existence feeling behind, you stop living your life. You start chasing it. Physically present in today, but your mind is already frantically living 6 months in the future. You become so obsessed with reaching the next checkpoint that it's like climbing a mountain while staring strictly at your boots. You miss the entire hike. You miss the unexpected detours, the stupid jokes, the quiet rests, the very things that give the summit its meaning when you can finally stand on it. Because the irony is, the hike is where your life actually happens, not the arrival. It happens in the ordinary, forgettable spaces. Making coffee in a kitchen you'll eventually move out of. Answering emails for a job you'll eventually leave. Walking home in the cold. Years from now, there is a very good chance you will look back at this exact phase differently. The one you are currently desperate to get through. The one you are trying so hard to outgrow. The one you think is standing directly between you and your real life. And you'll realize something. It wasn't standing in the way. It was the way. It wasn't a waiting room. It was a chapter. A real chapter of a life that was happening quietly in the background, while the world unfolded beneath your feet. Goals still matter. Ambition isn't a crime. But there is no universal finish line where everyone else arrived and you didn't. There were just billions of human beings trying to figure out how to exist, starting from completely different places, carrying entirely different fears, and walking entirely different roads. Maybe the goal was never to catch up. Maybe there was nobody ahead of you in the first place. Maybe you aren't behind. Maybe you're just measuring your life against a timeline that was never yours to begin with. And all this time, while you were trying to catch up to your life, you were already living it. If you finally found the words for how you feel today, welcome. New reflections are shared every Sunday. Feel free to stay a while.